Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
All right, thanks for joining us on this Friday. Also, happy Valentine's Day. It's good to have you with us. I'm Erin Hartley, of course, joined by Jarrett Lansford and Senior Chief Meteorologist Rusty Lord. What we aren't loving on this Valentine's Day is this weekend forecast, although we're due for it, I will say.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had some winter. Now we're getting, like Jarrett said, like clearing out the backlog of winter. I don't know. It's going to be a busy stretch, best way to put it. Let's dive in here, and hopefully this all makes sense to you as we go through, because we want you to watch every day, but I would highly stress watching every day, because every day is different because of these rapidly changing weather conditions. Now, Saturday's a first alert weather day with 1 to 3 inches of snow in the morning and then falling temperatures. Monday's another round of snow and a first alert weather day. That will bring in the coldest air of the season that comes in for the middle of next week, where we may struggle to get above 0 for a high for a day or two. Now, let's look out across the area. It's not going to be a very quiet day today either. 15 degrees, feels like number of 1 below. South-southeast wind, 10 to 20 miles per hour, been that way for a while. Gusts today are going to get up near 40 miles per hour at times during the day. Yes, that'll blow around all that powder that's out there from the last round of snow. So watch that in the wide open areas going back over the roads. It'll quiet down tonight and then pick back up again tomorrow as the north wind gets rolling behind the snow that's going to move through. So let me show you how this plays out, give you a first alert to at least today into tomorrow morning. Now, even with this today and the surge of a little bit of warmth, there's a small risk of a little bit of a light wintry mix. Looks a little ominous, more so than I think it'll actually be. Models have this, but doesn't really have it reaching the ground. So by noon, there could be a little bit around the area, and you can see how it's having a hard time figuring out what type of precipitation it's going to be. It's a little batch that moves through. By 3 o'clock or so, it's out of here. I don't think it impacts the evening drive or the morning drive. It's sandwiched right in the middle. If you have lunch plans, you might get a little bit of this. Lower 30s by 4 o'clock or so for the high. Then it quiets down with the wind, and here's the next batch rolling in. By 10 o'clock, still pretty quiet. Head towards midnight. There could be a little bit of freezing rain with this before it changes to snow. I think that's what we're seeing right here. That's what leads us off after midnight, and then it fills in heading towards Saturday morning with some snow. Where these stripes set up, that's the key to the forecast, because that is where the heaviest band of snow will be. There could be some really intense snow rates in 1 or 2 of these, wherever they set up, and that is where models having a very tough time figuring out where do we have those going. So Saturday starts off in the 20s. We will fall off through the day. It's an early high. That snow with 1 to 3 inches likely for most of us, but a heavier band is possible. I think right now the best bet for that is east of the metro and our Iowa counties that are north of I-80. Then the temperatures will fall off. Let me show you what that snow map looks like. We're about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation in the metro. Again, no clear sign which end of the range will be. Could just as easily have 1 in many spots as we could have 3 in the white shaded area. But if you're watching west central Iowa north of I-80 here, that's where your best bet is for 3 to 6 inch totals. And we'll see if we maybe have to drag this down into Nebraska somewhere as models try to tell us a little bit more as the day goes along. So that is what we get for Saturday. 20s in the morning, falling to near 20 by the end of the day, and best snow chances in the morning. They should wrap up as we head towards noon and get out of here. Then only 8 for the high on Sunday. Yeah, not looking great. Even a little bit of a breeze there. So that's likely a day where wind chills are going to be below 0 pretty much all day.
Do we want more bad news after this? Because we don't get much of a break even after
Sunday.
That's
the thing. I have graphics lined up, and I'm going to push the button.
You should tell them.
Here's where we're going for Monday. A high of 8 on Monday. We have more snow potential. That's going to be a dry, powdery snow as well. Another round of this that'll start sometime in the morning. Now, Jarrett and I, as we go through the course of the morning here, are going to try to figure out the forecast snow map for this one. Busy pattern, didn't have a chance to get to those fine details, but it does look like it's going to impact travel all day, and then the frigid air is going to pour in behind it. Look at this stripe of snow that sets up through our area during the day on Monday. Best odds probably for the heaviest snow will be south of I-80, south half of the map, and then heading into Tuesday, that dives down through Kansas. So it's going to be a slow, gradual accumulation on Monday. Look at that, 10 below to start Tuesday, 0 for the high on Tuesday with a little lingering morning snow, 2 on Wednesday. That's a few mornings there. Double-digit below zero air temperatures, might be setting some record low temperatures. About 40 degrees below average for our afternoon highs is the story there. So that would be the coldest core of air we've had so far this season.
We really missed out in January, but February has so far given us the most.
We're going to make up for it in a hurry.
Yes. You mentioned that chance of maybe some record lows. That low for Thursday morning would be a record right now. Fun fact, maybe they won't find this as fun. Last year on the 20th, we had a record high. So we're hitting both ends of the spectrum.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's wild.
All right. Some more promising news today is that the road conditions are actually pretty okay.
Yeah,
a little slow.
We've been keeping most areas moving along pretty well. We do have one exception here that has been showing up. That's I-80 as you're making your way to try to go to 144th. So backups have been showing up on the ramp, and occasionally that's been spilling onto the interstate proper. Now, right now, the interstate is moving along in okay shape, but you do notice this orange shade that's showing up as you go to exit onto 144th. So it's something we'll be watching closely as we continue through the next hour or two is how that situation continues to resolve. Continue to see construction that's happening on 144th, part of the reason for that. And there's what we're looking at, that situation. So right now looks okay. But again, we'll continue to monitor that. Not too bad at 90th and West Dodge. Looks pretty good. 144th and Dodge at this point as well. This is a camera we've been watching pretty much over the last hour or so. You notice occasionally we actually have some snow that's blowing off of the First National Tower. That's how easy this is going to blow around through the day today with how powdery that snow was that's on the ground. So that's one of the things you want to continue to watch for as travel continues, not just this morning, but all day long, is for that wind to pick that up and drift it around. Could be especially an issue as you're driving in some of those rural areas. Also with that wind, a good idea to leave a little extra room for some of those high profile vehicles on east-west roads. This will be a south crosswind for them, so give them some room to try and navigate that. And as far as road conditions go, main road's in great shape at this point, but still could be a couple of slick spots as you make your way onto some of those residential streets. So still something to watch for. Mainly moving along pretty well. A little bit of a slowdown showing up there on Highway 6 there in Gretna. Watch that as you're heading northbound. But for the most part, it's a pretty quiet start to our morning commute, and hopefully we can close out the work week with that remaining the case.
That's good news. We need some good news.
Yeah, after all that great news that Rusty brought us.
All right, balance.
Just here to tell the weather.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, teen will be sentenced in April on multiple charges, including murder. Kiana Opal faces 20 years to life behind bars. Police say she stabbed Ezra Sinkiewicz last year near 53rd and Spalding. He died shortly after. We're told Opal was still at the scene of the crime when police arrived. As frigid temperatures continue, Heartland Family Services has opened up their Pierce Center in Council Bluffs as a warming center. It's available Monday through Thursday from 10 a.m. to 3. Officials do say the harsh temperatures have taken a toll on those coming through their doors. They've seen an uptick in people suffering from frostbite and hypothermia.
So we've taken people to the hospital for different reasons, and we pass out a lot of hand warmers and hats and gloves and blankets and all of that good stuff.
The organization is collecting donations at their locations in Iowa and Omaha. For more information on how you can donate, you can go to our website, firstalert6.com. Coming up, discussions on the Unicam on the abortion medication. We'll hear from both sides of the issue. Coming up, more traffic and weather from Rusty and Jared. Welcome back. Time now 7:12 on this Friday morning. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Bob Carey, Pedestrian Bridge, is that red it's lit up in? I don't know if that's for Valentine's Day. Could be for UNO. I'm not really sure. But either way, it's good to see it on the screen. Very busy weekend as far as the forecasts go. We have 2 first alert days coming up. Really, people need to be paying attention to the forecast.
Yeah, every day brings us a little something different. Every day brings us another round of cold. We've actually warmed up a little bit this morning. We're in the teens. We had below 0 numbers all morning yesterday morning, and now we've rebounded a fair amount. And out the door, it still feels like just below 0, 1 below. Wind gust forecast is going to get up near 40 miles per hour today, so that's going to blow around that powder that's out there all day long. Yeah, very strong wind for any time of the year, let alone when it's cold. 9 o'clock brings us a small chance of a little wintry mix through the middle of the day, and then that would move east. This looks a little more ominous than it'll actually be. 2, 3 o'clock shows that sliding off towards the east. By 4, we're looking at lower 30s. And then by 7, we're starting to fall back to near 30 degrees. And what happens then after night is the next batch of precipitation that's prompted our first alert weather day for Saturday rolls in near or just after midnight. And that could be some snow and freezing rain as it moves through. By early in the morning Saturday, we fill in with more snow and watch where some of these heavier stripes line up. 26 for the early high, that falls back. On this first Alert 6 weather day for Saturday, 1 to 3 inches likely with a heavier band possible on the Iowa side the way things look now, and temperatures peaking kind of early. Let's march through a little bit more on Saturday here and show you. Look at that narrow, heavy band, and there's one trying to set up here. Where those set up is the ultimate key to this forecast, because that will produce some heavy snow rates, and it could end up bumping some totals up over 3 inches. But notice by noon, most of the snow is done and out of here, and it'll move out as we make our way through the afternoon. 8 degrees for the high on Sunday, just reinforces the cold air. And then behind that, there's another first alert weather day. But here's the Saturday morning snow potential. 1 to 3 in the metro, good chunk of the area. You get to 3 to 6, the best odds will be north of I-80 for our Iowa counties. We'll see if we need to drag this down into Nebraska somewhere as the day goes along. Early high of 26, falling off into the teens by the end of the day on Saturday. And then we got to talk about Monday. First Alert 6 weather day brings us another round of snow on Monday. Impacts to travel, it should move in sometime during the morning and make our way into the afternoon. So that's what we'll be watching for Monday with that marching through the area. That's what it looks like at 7 a.m. It'll dart to the southeast, and hopefully in the afternoon it'll give way a little bit, but another push of some snow may try to tack on a little bit more into the afternoon on Monday before it takes over and dives into Kansas. So it is going to be a cold stretch of weather with a couple rounds of snow on the way. A couple of First Alert 6 weather days making for a busy weather pattern in the short term for sure.
Even post-Tuesday, we don't even warm up a lot. We don't even get back to our maybe moderate temperatures for the winter.
If you're looking for something anywhere close to average, we have today, and then we bookend it with something very similar by the end of the 10-day. In between, a long stretch of some cold weather the way it appears, with a couple of days that struggle to get above 0 for the high. Tuesday and Wednesday looks pretty nasty as far as cold weather goes. So that's the way it looks in the short term, and we'll keep you posted as we get closer at each round.
All right, Rusty, thanks for the bad news.
You bet.
All right, as far as traffic conditions today, a whole lot better than the last couple of days. Still, the roads have that snow kind of like packed into the pavement. Could make for a little bit slippery conditions if you're making like a sharp turn.
Especially you get into some of those residential areas, so it takes a little more time to get those in good shape. When you look at the main roads, you're going to be looking at some pretty smooth travel. The green, when you're looking at the road conditions, indicates some pretty normal winter conditions out there. Of course, we go through the next several days. You're going to want to continue to be aware of the changing conditions. We'll be keeping up to date on this as the weekend goes on and into Monday with those rounds of snow that make their way through. You get outside of the metro, though, you're looking at a little bit more of that patchy coverage showing up as you get near Beatrice, Columbus, York, and as the day goes on, we start to drift some of that snow around. We may start to see some more of that show up on the map from time to time. So keep that in mind that it may be pretty green map right now, but we may have some more issues as the day goes on for us, unfortunately. There's what it looks like I-80 as you're going between the Gretna exit at 144. It looks pretty good at this point, and really that's kind of the story throughout much of the metro. It's pretty quiet out there. Even that area we've been watching right near 144th on I-80 is holding up pretty well at this point. A little bit of a delay that's showing up there on L as you are making your way in right to the east of the JFK. You can kind of see how that's just a little slow. Nothing major at this point, but that's kind of our only real big spot where we are looking at any kind of delay showing up. So that's a good sign as we start off our day, and hopefully, Aaron, we can keep that as the case as the morning goes on.
All right, I'd like to hear that. Jarrett, thanks. Nebraska state legislators are taking up the topic of abortion. Bellevue Senator Rick Holcroft introduced LB 512. It would add new requirements for doctors providing medication abortions. Supporters say the bill would protect women and offer a standard of care from part-time doctors who come to Nebraska. Opponents are arguing it doesn't follow already agreed upon best practices.
Abortion is reprehensible. There is no sound medical, scientific, or ethical justification for it. But one can vote to regulate more tightly something that one finds morally reprehensible.
The requirements for reporting in this bill are much more stringent than the requirements of reporting for narcotics. So I think this is undue and unnecessary.
In Nebraska, abortion is legal in the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. Omaha Fire conducted an unusual mission, rescuing a man from a garbage truck. Omaha Fire tells us this all started with the garbage truck driver emptied a dumpster into his truck. Now he checked his safety cameras. He saw a man moving around inside. The driver called 911 right away.
And then a short time later, the ladder truck came, and they were using that as kind of a crane to get him out. And two of the guys climbed in. They had a stretcher on top waiting, and they were down there for probably, it was probably 15 minutes or so before they hoisted him out.
That man was taken to the hospital. The good news is he was not seriously hurt. Nebraska women taking on a ranked Maryland team. The Terps opened up on the tear, storming out to a 14-point lead late in the first. But the Huskers showing fight, coming all the way back to tie things up by the half. The second half was all Nebraska as the Huskers pick up the 91-71 win. Maryland is the highest ranked team Nebraska has beat in a true road game since 2013. Coming up, did you go over budget buying for a loved one this Valentine's Day? You are not alone. We'll explain why coming up. Newborns at Nebraska Medicine are very ready to celebrate Valentine's Day. You got to see this. The March of Dimes teamed up with the hospital to help nurses make some candy-inspired looks. Pair reads BFFs Forever. They also have a couple of love bugs in there. Aww. My first Valentine's Day. Nebraska Medicine says the tiny and mighty patients nailed the photo shoot. Bunch of models in there. Oh. Well, hopefully your Valentine's Day plans are all ready to go. New numbers from the National Retail Federation show shoppers plan to spend an average of around $190 today. In all, consumers are set to spend a record $27.5 billion.
So
all right.
Is that dinner included in that, or is that
just
like
dinner.
Gifts?
I would assume it's probably a collection.
Yeah.
But the average? Sense. All right. Oof. Are you? I don't know if I should spoil it. Are you ready?
I'll be fine. Don't you worry about me.
Don't you worry. Oh my goodness.
I tell you, if you don't have your plants ready by this point,
there's a lot that don't.
You're kind of behind the 8 ball at this point a little bit, but I got faith in you. You'll get there.
Trader Joe's, any grocery store is going to be just filled with single dudes coming in and trying to get some flowers.
Those last-minute flowers.
Yeah.
That's how that's going to go.
You got to go early. Okay. Good luck today. All right. We're about to have our next cut-in soon. That's just a couple of minutes. You can watch us while we work. That cut-in happening right here at 7:26. In the meantime, have a great Valentine's Day and a great start to your weekend.
Live from WOWT, First Alert 6 starts now.
All right, time now 7:26. It's good to have you with us on this Friday. I'm Erin Hartley. Let's get an update on the road conditions this morning with Jared Lansford.
As you're heading out and about, a lot of the main roads are holding up pretty well for our morning drive. You can see how I-80 is looking pretty good as you get just past 60th, and a lot of our roads are moving along in good shape. Something to watch as the day goes on, though. We have picked the winds up. You're seeing that pretty well from our camera here on First National Bank, and occasionally you're going to see some snow that's getting kicked off of the building there. That could get kicked around, drift over some of our roads as the day goes on. So something to keep in mind. Watch for maybe a few slick spots as a result of that as our day goes on. Otherwise, a pretty good start to our Friday morning drive. Rusty.
Temperatures are definitely warmer than yesterday, too. We have temperatures that are in the teens out the door this morning, 15 to about 18 degrees around a good chunk of the city. Notice back here, this little batch of precipitation, I think that's going to be the key to whether or not we can get a little wintry mix here during the middle of the day today. There's a small chance of that here as we approach the lunch hour, 32 for the high. After that, we're locked into the clouds, but I think the biggest story today is going to be the wind, gusting up near 40 miles per hour several times through the morning hours into the early afternoon. That'll whip around that dry powder today. 3-day forecast goes to 26. Then on Saturday with the first alert weather day, we actually have wintry mix that moves in overnight after midnight tonight heading into Saturday, and that could lead to actually some snow that accumulates about 1 to 3 inches, then falling temperatures on Saturday, 8 for the high on Sunday. So 1 to 3 inches of accumulation on Saturday, perhaps a little more to the northeast and parts of west central Iowa. Most of this would be done by noon. Aaron?
Rusty, thanks. A Metro nonprofit is helping people in the need escape the cold. Heartland Family Services has opened up its Pierce Center in Council Bluffs as a warming center. It's open Mondays through Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 3. Back here on air in about 30 minutes. Have a great start to your Friday.